Hi everyone. This is a PowerPoint about writing your persuasive essay, which is due at the beginning of June. Of course, you can look through the PowerPoint on your own, but I want to go through it to add any information that will help you with this essay writing process. So typically it's 5 paragraphs. For the persuasive essay, you have an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Now, all of you have written paragraphs and more than one paragraph assignments because you've done that with me. You've done the process essay. It wasn't quite an essay, but you've done the process writing assignment. You've done the compare and contrast writing assignment. So the essay, as I said, has 5 paragraphs. You have to have an introduction, which is a paragraph that gives the reader some background information on your topic. You don't want to assume that your reader knows anything about your topic. Now, obviously, I'm the reader in this case, but you have to write it as if you were writing it to a general audience. So if you're writing about how to decrease the amount of plastic in the oceans, you have to give a little bit of background information about that. So some statistics about how there's more plastic in the oceans, or a little bit about the negative effects of it, so that the reader understands the context of your argument. This is a persuasive essay you'll be writing, so you are trying to persuade someone to believe you and to take your opinion. So you have your background information, you have your thesis statement. Beginning of the introduction also has a hook, which I'll talk about. Now there's 3 body paragraphs, and each body paragraph talks about one point that you're making to support your thesis. So you have your thesis, but then you have to have 3 claims to support this thesis. And each one of these paragraphs is going to cover one of these points and strengthens your argument. And then your concluding paragraph sums everything up. You kind of restate your thesis and you have a final thought, which could be a suggestion about what to happen next. It could be a warning that if things don't change, what will happen. It could be, maybe you have an idea for a resolution. You want to leave the reader with something to think about your topic, basically. Okay, so you have a hook, you have general information or background about the topic, and you have your thesis statement, okay? So the hook is to grab someone's attention. It opens the essay. You want it to be interesting. You want it to engage the reader, and you want to be creative. And it should be short, because if it's too long, it's not going to grab the reader's attention. So you can ask a question. You can make some sort of an observation. You can have an anecdote or scenario. I do think that this example here is a little too long, so I would keep it as one sentence. You could have a famous quote as long as you cite it. You have to make sure that if you're using someone else's words, you have to cite it with the author's name and the year that the quote was made. Or you could use some sort of shocking statistic, right? So you can pick any of these. Again, you want to keep it short, you want to keep it interesting. Now, the background information is generally 3 to 5 sentences where you are giving the reader the context for the topic of your essay. You're not giving any main ideas in this part, just background information. And what I often describe the introduction is like an upside down triangle. And I have a handout for this, which I can post on Canvas. You start quite broad with the hook and the context information, right? So the triangle's upside down, and then as you get down to the point of the triangle, then you're getting more concise, and then you're like, okay, this is where I'm going with this, and now this is my argument, right? So you hook, background information, and then you lead the reader to your thesis statement, and that is the last sentence of your introduction. Now, thesis statement, you need to be able to express the main topic of the essay, and you have to have a controlling idea, and it has to be a complete sentence. So you could say something, if you were talking about plastic in the ocean, So it could be something like plastic in the ocean, and then the controlling idea is that it's uh, altering marine life, right? Although I think that's been proven, so actually isn't a great topic, but let's say it hasn't been proven yet. So your topic is plastic in the ocean, and your controlling idea, your focus is going to be that it is changing or it's killing marine life. So you would say the plastic in the ocean is killing marine life, for example. Here's an example introduction, so you can read through that. And again, I'm going to post this PowerPoint on Canvas, so I won't go through it now, but that's something to look at. I also posted 2 essay exemplars, and so you can take a look through those to see basically how to write your persuasive essay, what the structure looks like. Okay, so you can see here at the end that it's talking about home cooked meals. So, however, preparing home cooked meals has nutritional, social, and psychological benefits. So, what they've done here is they've actually introduced the 3 things that they're going to discuss in their essay. And you can do that as well. So, if I were going to talk about the plastic in the plastic in the ocean is harming marine life, poisoning our drinking water, and raising the Earth's temperature. I don't know, something like that. And then you have the 3 things that you're going to talk about in your essay. So in this case, we know that one body paragraph is going to talk about nutrition, one is going to talk about the social aspect, and one is going to talk about the psychological benefits. Okay? So now, in each paragraph, body paragraph, you have to have a topic sentence, you have to have the supporting detail sentences, and you have to have a concluding sentence. So this is for each single body paragraph, right? So your topic sentence is kind of like a mini thesis. You had your thesis in your introduction, right? So here it's preparing home cooked meals has nutritional, social, and psychological benefits. Nutritional benefits is the first thing you're going to talk about. So body paragraph 1, which is actually the second paragraph of your essay, is going to talk about this. So it's a mini thesis. So now we say the most obvious benefit of home cooking is the ability to control the quality of the food. So this is going to now, this paragraph is, the topic sentence is setting the reader up to know, okay, so now I know what this is going to be about. It's going to talk about quality and nutrition of the food. So it prepares the reader for the information that's going to be in that body paragraph, okay? So there's a couple of things here to look through, but every body paragraph has that topic sentence. And we did talk about that when we were in face-to-face classes, that you had to have that for your other writing assignments, okay? So treat it like a mini thesis. Okay, so you can look through this at your own time. I don't want to read all the slides because this is something you can go through, but I just want to go through a couple of things. So what's really important is that you have the support for your arguments. So you have your topic sentences. For example, there are many support services at George Brown College. So then what you have to do is you have to support it. Okay, so what is your proof? So you can explain what the services are. You can describe something. So I'll never forget my childhood home. So when supporting sentences either explain, describe, they give reasons, and they give facts. Okay. So you have a claim, and then you have to explain it or describe it. And then you also have to incorporate your research in those body paragraphs. Okay. You can also give examples. Okay, so let's take a look. If you look through this, you want to say, okay, well, where is the support here? Okay, so obviously you can look through this, take a look through it to see, and you can see that there's an example of the support that's provided in the body paragraph. So again, look through the PowerPoint, get to know this information so you understand what it is I'm expecting. Okay, beware of inadequate support. So this is a common issue with students in the communications classes, is they have these great ideas, but then there isn't enough support, right? So you don't want to just make a statement and not explain things. So you here we have, you have to save money to pay your bills each month because the bills have to be paid. Yes, but that's not enough, right? You have to explain more. Like, what are the consequences of not paying your bills? What happens if you don't pay your bills, right? Same with anxious students should not be forced to present because they have problems with anxiety. Obviously, but again, why shouldn't they be forced to present? What could happen if they're forced to present? What are the outcomes of that? What are the risks? So that's why you have to really be careful about your support. Have you actually explained to the reader why this is important or why you're suggesting a certain thing? Okay, so there's transitional words, and I'm actually going to post a handout with a bunch of information about different transitions to use. So you should read through this and what you can use in your concluding sentences. Now, concluding paragraphs. It obviously signals the end of the essay and summarizes the points, but you also, it's really important, you want to leave the reader with something to think about. At the end of your essay, you want the reader to kind of go, huh, oh, that's something to think about, or what more could we do? You want you want to have an effect on them. So again, summary, final thoughts, one way is to ask a thought-provoking question. You have a strong closing statement, right? You can ask a question. Again, you can make a warning, like for example with the plastics in the ocean. Like a warning could be, if this doesn't change, what is the outcome? What could happen if we don't fix the problem of plastic in our ocean? Okay, so again, make it interesting. Make an impact. You want the reader to feel like, oh, yeah, like this was informative. I'm really glad I read this. Okay. And we'll talk more about this over the weeks. So again, you restate your thesis statement. So you want to make sure that you paraphrase yourself, but that's not the only thing you're doing. I really want to stress that it's not just restating your thesis statement. You also have to make a prediction or make a suggestion. Okay. So that's the end. Take a look through the whole PowerPoint, and if you have any questions, email me.